welcome back to a nice Monday edition, episode 383 of the Purple Rain podcast. The LeJontay Wester, Willie Sneed, Kadir Ismail, Andy Isabella, Ed Dixon, Daniel Brown, Daniel Wilcox edition of the Purple Rain podcast. Thank you for spending your Monday evening with us. It has been a week since we've gone live, but that just means we have so much more to talk about, like a lot. We were going through it pre-stream. It's like, hold on, we
Yeah.
have a lot to talk about today. So buckle in. Hopefully you have a snack, a nice beverage next to you. And first, before anything, you can follow us on Instagram at the Purple Rain Podcast. This guy right here on Instagram or on X at Sutton Def. Me, Instagram simply as10.prod, X simply as10. And yes, if you are new here and you want to stick around, like the video first off. If you want to chat in that comment section, subscribe. It's on subscribers only mode. Go in there, sound off. Most likely you'll get pulled up on the screen. So yeah, let us know how you're feeling. I'm feeling good. Hope you're feeling good, Sutton. We are back for another week, and we are 1 week closer to the draft. We're, I think, a week away, I want to say, from the tampering period of the free
Yes,
agency.
we are.
So we have that. It's kind of moving now. We have trades going on, and not just like Mickey Mouse trades. We have like kind of like well-known players getting traded in the league. Like it's getting close to that time again. But first up, how are you feeling? You know, Ravens football, like it's closer. All that's closer. Because overall, how are we doing?
Doing well, man. And like you kind of mentioned, like the league that never sleeps, that is the National Football League, man. I mean, even in the off season, I'm like, this is the dead of the off season. We still have, like we mentioned before stream, the combine, and then like you mentioned, these trades happening, tampering period in 7 days. I cannot wait, man. I mean, that's why I love football. That's why I love the NFL specifically. But I'm doing good, man. I can't complain. It's been a while since we streamed, you know. We didn't do a Thursday stream. YouTube was kind of weird last week. It was very, very weird last week. I mean, streams were going down. I was trying to do sudden reactions and things like that, but it wasn't working. I also had some family in town, so we took last Thursday off. But that leads us to have it, like you mentioned, like a very, very backloaded episode today, which is just fine because we're gonna get into all of that good stuff here when it comes to our Baltimore Ravens. So if that sounds good to you, be sure to like this video if you're watching over on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel as well if you are new. And shout out to everybody watching over on X as well. We know we have a pretty good presence over there. So if you're listening over on X, then make sure you come over to YouTube at some time, you know, and maybe like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. But again, we got a boatload to get into. Before we do, I do want to bring up who's here in the live chat. We got a couple of members here in the chat. We got Void. What's going on, Void? Appreciate you for coming through. We also have 86 Ghosts, another member in the chat. What up? What up? Always blessed 410 says, let's talk Ravens. That's what we're here to do tonight here, man. Appreciate you for coming through. Another member. We got Mike, another member in the chat, giving us the salute here. Salute to you, Mike. Appreciate you for coming through. We also have Ashley says, good evening, Sutton and Alex. Good evening, Ashley. Thank you for popping into this stream, episode 383. And we also got plenty of others in the chat as well. We got Shelly Show in the chat, another member. We got Chef Spicy Rice. What up, Chef Spicy Rice? Shelly Show. We have, let me see, ISO. What up, ISO? What up, ISO? Appreciate you for coming through. Another member. Members are going crazy here in the chat early here on this episode of PRP 383, that is. And we also have Chris M in the building, too. So that's evening. Yo, what's going on, Chris? Appreciate you for coming through. All right. And, you know, shout out to everybody else watching live right now. I do want to bring you guys' comments up on screen. So make sure as this episode goes along and as the stream goes along, you leave your comments and whatever you're thinking in the chat. And if you're not watching live right now, you happen to be part of the hashtag Replay Gang. Thank you so much for coming through to this episode 383 as well. Be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and leave all your thoughts, comments, questions, concerns down below in the comments section. Now, Alex, we got a lot to get into. So what do we start with here? I think we should start with, we talked about it before we went live here. I think we should start with some rumors, right? Some rumor mill stuff, some like word on the street sort of stuff that's going on in the Ravens nation right now. And it got me excited right before the weekend, right? And let me go ahead and transition this over here first before we get into anything else. But you guys see it right here. This right here is what I'm referring to. This rumor mill stuff. This is actually coming from Bobby Baltimore, aka Bobby Trossett. Podcast on the Volt and the Ravens Collective with Jeff Z and Cole Jackson. Shout out to those guys. Bobby dropped a little bit of information on Friday, I think it was. As you guys can see here in this tweet, and of course, you can always take whatever you see with a grain of salt, but we are here to bring this to you guys because we know Bobby. right? And we know he's got a little bit of credibility in these streets. And like my guy Alex told me, like he wouldn't do anything to hurt his reputation, especially at this point in his career. So you can take it with a grain of salt if you want to, but I think there's some validity to this. I mean, especially based off of what Nnamdi Madubuike, who is surprise, surprise, the subject of this topic here, has been kind of like posting on social media in spurts. Nnamdi Madubuike is not dumb, right? He knows what like posting, like, oh, amen, like, looking forward to new things, all that's positive stuff he was posting. He knows what that does to the fan base. It charges them up. But Bobby says here in this tweet, says, and I quote, I'm hearing that retirement is not in the cards for
Mhm.
Nnamdi Madubuike, and there's a realistic expectation he will be back in a Ravens uniform this fall. Now, Alex, I'm gonna toss this to you, but I'm just say this: this absolutely flies in the face of everything and everything. I mean that Ravens fans have been feeling towards this whole Madubuike situation for the past, I don't know, what, almost half a year now. It feels like, right? It's been a minute since Nnamdi Madubuike went down, and we kind of started to feel that kind of feeling in our tummies that, oh, he might not be coming back at all, right? So, I mean, when you see this information here, how do you feel about it? Just how do you feel? How do you react to Nnamdi Madubuike potentially being back next year?
Oh man, really couldn't talk about how crucial he was to the D line. What week was it where we're like, it's week such and such, and Nnamdi Madubuike is still leading the Ravens in sacks?
Oh boy, it was, I think, at least week 7. It took until I think it was Tavius Robinson who finally passed him up. I want to say by like one sack or a half a sack, but 7 through 9, somewhere something like that. Yeah,
And he played 2 games. We were
yeah.
getting bullied in the trenches, and obviously Travis Jones could only do so much with as one man. Really can't talk about how big this would be, and I think um, he's leaving like with Bobby's like he's the realistic expectations he'll be back, leaving a little bit of room. If he doesn't come back, or maybe if he's not back, come this fall, maybe the winter. But it definitely is a step in the right direction. Obviously, we can speculate over the tweets, which is fine, but hearing this and Bobby, must talk to somebody credible. I just don't think you're gonna throw in kind of put your reputation on the line like that. It's been around for a while in the Baltimore community. Um, so don't get me wrong. If he were to come back, I still want us to go after somebody on the defensive line. You mentioned John Franklin Myers. I'm right there with you. I think if Nnamdi were to be back, I would love to have him as well with Travis Jones. Just kind of the pressure they can bring you from the interior. Those 3 guys, if they're playing, the rotations we can have, I'm all for it. But I'd be lying if I didn't have a little pep in my step on what Friday when this came out, because it's just good news. We've been waiting for good news like this for months now, and more of so off the football, just the life aspect. This guy's been dreaming of playing the league, worked his ass off for him to possibly be back and play the game he loves again. Huge.
Yeah, no, I mean, I love the fact that you brought up my guy JFM again. I mean,
It's a
that's my
no-brainer.
boy. Yeah, that's my boy. And I was thinking to myself when I did see this news, Alex, it's crazy that we're kind of on the same page here, and we didn't even talk about this. But like when I heard the news that Nnamdi Madubuike may be coming back next fall, I was thinking to myself, like, I still want to go get JFM, right? I want to like just completely reinforce this defensive line in every way imaginable. Yeah, we get Nnamdi Madubuike back, but we also have Travis Jones. Then we added John Franklin Myers, who not only can rush from the inside, right? We see in his tape he can rush from the outside as well. That 4 tech position and beyond, right? So I just really love the prospect, just even if that's what we can call it right now, of Nnamdi Madubuike being back with the Ravens, because that automatically ties in everything with the defense. These past couple of weeks, I've been on this podcast saying, Alex, that not only is it an offensive line and defensive line game, right? But it's an interior defensive line, an interior offensive line game. Those are two so underrated aspects of the game. I mean, everybody talks about the trenches in general, but it starts from the inside out. It truly does, right? And I just really believe that the combination of Madubuike and Travis Jones, as we've seen before in past seasons, that is what ties this defense together. I mean, it helps out the edge rushers, which helps out the linebackers, which helps out the secondary. It's like a chain reaction when you have a solid interior like that. And the same thing goes for the offensive side of the football. When you have two very, very solid guards, which obviously the Ravens did not have last season, it works wonders. It really does. So, you know, I love the fact that, I don't know if we can call it a fact yet, but Bobby is hearing from his sources, which, he works closely with Jeff Z and people close to the team and stuff like that. So I think is okay to trust him, if you ask me, on this one. Uh Matty BK might be back. It might not be over. It might not be clipped for him. And that honestly impacts the rest of the Ravens offseason, right? I mean, in terms of the draft as well, certainly, right, Alex?
Correct. I think if he were to be back, and let's say we do sign Franklin Myers, I think you can throw defensive lineman out the window for the first round. 100%. Throw it out. It's not happening because why would you have three guys like that and then draft another guy under team control for 4 years? That's just, and you just re-signed Travis Jones. It's one thing if Travis Jones was heading out the door in a week. He's not. Got extended midseason, so you can kind of focus now your assets on your edge because our edge room is looking a little bad right now. I mean, our only active guys are Tavius, I think, with 1 year left, and Mike Green, and I think maybe a guy on the practice squad. Outside of that, I think Ojabo. I mean, I think he's good as gone. Adisa Isaac, big question mark. So you need to impact that edge room. So if you can get the interior done, you have now the draft, you have free agency to work just on the edge, and I'm completely fine with that because I think as if you guys in the middle are good, it helps out those guys on the edge even that much more. So it just solves kind of two problems in one with Madubuike being back and fixing up that interior. It just makes life so much easier. So hopefully EDC can do that, but it's just been a while since we've got, the prospect of that good news. We deserve it. We really do. Just the way last year went, just a complete another part of my French shit show on all aspects, on all levels. It just wasn't good. So, oh man, I'm just excited for that. But I see Chef Spicy here says, either way, we still need interior D line. No guarantee Beaks will even see the field the first half. And that's a good point as well, kind of to slow the roll. Who's to say he will be that same Madubuike we know? And I think that's a fair assessment to make. But out of football, probably it'll be for over damn near 365 days. Getting a guy like Franklin Myers allows you to kind of ease him in. Don't throw him, 0 to 100. And I think that's why it's all the more we should be going after Franklin Myers. And I think if that contract is true of 2 years, 14 mil, or 2 years, I think 10 and a half possibly, that's a no brainer. Throw in some added bonuses as well, some incentives. He'll hit him. He'll get that money.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, it's a very good point. Chef Spicy Rice brings up here. I mean, there is no. I mean, if you were to come back and play and get and ramped up for a season, I definitely don't think he would be available like week one. I don't know. With how radio silent it has been up until this point, I still think that it's probably more serious than we might currently be giving it credit for. Right, his I word there. So we'll see what ends up happening. But like you mentioned, man, I mean it's huge. It's absolutely humongous for the Ravens to get back a Nnamdi Madubuike across that defensive line because of what it does. I mean, again, like I said, a chain reaction to the rest of the defense. I mean, from the edge unit. I mean, we saw what the edge rushers did in 2024 and 2023, being second and first in sacks in those years respectively, because you had the interior force of Travis Jones and Nnamdi Madubuike. You know what I mean? Like it was no coincidence of why that defense was able to do what it did both of those years. It wasn't just the likes of Roquan Smith and Kyle Hamilton. No, it was the interior. It was the interior. That's where everything starts. So definitely love that news. But let's go ahead and get into let's shift gears here. Let's get into what I think came out today, as a matter of fact. The Ravens apparently, allegedly, are keeping tabs, right, on Maxx Crosby. And this was kind of came out today from Albert Breer, who said the Ravens are keeping tabs on the availability of Raiders star pass rusher Maxx Crosby. Uh, Breer says he leans towards a Crosby trade happening potentially this week, which is insane to me. I mean, that would be crazy. Can you imagine if the Ravens acquired Maxx Crosby in like the next 7 days? Alex, how do you react to this?
Uh, I'm doing some running around. The pants might come off. Might go streak around the neighborhood because that to me is kind of signaling a change of EDC finally went in between his legs and grabbed his nuts. Like I can do this. He's scared. I feel like to make that big move. Now you got the Don Steve Bisciotti on your ass for the first time I think in a while, if not the first time in your GM tenure. That you got to make something happen now. You're feeling the heat. The seat's getting a little warm. The butt warmers are on, and you've got to make a shock move. And we both heard him. Steve isn't happy with his edge rushing room. And I don't think anybody should be. Where is where's the production at? Where's it going to come from? Get a guy like this guy. He's your best edge rusher since Doomer, Bill, and Suggs. It's just that simple. He'll get you that 10 plus with
Yeah.
Jesse Minter as well. We saw what Minter did with the Chargers. I'm not going to keep on talking about it, but Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa, that's not in their primes. Get a guy in their prime for me. I'd love it, but I'm gonna hold my horses. I don't think it gets done. I really don't. I just don't think he's willing to give up a first round pick. That's not EDC's range. We've heard the way he talks about the draft. They want to build the draft. I just can't see it happening. Just to kind of keep myself grounded. I don't know about you. I think it's a long shot.
No, I mean, I agree there. I have to because I mean, like you mentioned, everything that we know about one Eric DaCosta would tell us that he is not going to. He would roll over in his grave, right? Um, he would lay in his grave alive and be buried before giving away 2 first-round picks again, which is what the Raiders allegedly are going to be asking for the 28-year-old star pass rusher Maxx Crosby. I mean, like you mentioned, man, it's one of those things where if Eric DaCosta were to do it, it'd be like, him really sacking up and like taking a big swing, which you would think that with, the coaching staff being completely overhauled, right? And basically the owner, Steve Bisciotti, like you mentioned, basically saying like, hey, look, it's time for a change, right? And like I've been saying as well, if nothing changes, nothing changes. So the fact that you've been so conservative the past couple of years, and yeah, there's been some moves made here and there, but to take a big swing like that and like pony up one of your first round picks or maybe even 2 of your first round picks or whatever, if you can sweet talk them down and really making a move like that, that would really show me where Eric DaCosta's, how do I say, uh how ambitious he truly is about, taking this Ravens team to the next level, right? And giving them everything that they need without a shadow of a doubt that they have holes anywhere. Again, defensive line, especially if you get mad at BK back. But if you add a Maxx Crosby, whatever it takes, right? He's 28 years old and he's got his best football ahead of him, right? If you add him to the mix, I mean, what would that do for a Jesse Minter led defense? You could find yourself right in the same position as Mike McDonald and the Seahawks this year, right? Or the New England Patriots with Vrabel, right? The defense is back now, So I understand like wanting to invest more in the offense, but if you can, right? If you can go out and you can buy yourself a solid guard in free agency, right? Or you can go out and So wait, let me say this: if you can go out, you can buy yourself a solid guard in free agency. Then yes, I would also agree with going for and taking a big swing at getting a Maxx Crosby as well, because obviously if you have to buy the guard in free agency, you're going to give away that first round pick, which me I think it should be Vega, but
Yeah.
we'll talk about that another time.
I'm right there with you. I think the more and more we're going on, I think Vega's just the guy. I think it's not sexy. We're not gonna be sitting here salivating over his interceptions or his maybe his one-handed catches, but it'll keep our quarterback upright. Now, if I were a betting man to for the whole Crosby sweepstakes, I think it's the Eagles. I think Howie's gonna work his magic. He tried to get Parsons last year. I can just see this being the one thing like Ravens fans being like, I wish EDC was like Howie and more aggressive. I could definitely see him
Yeah.
at Kelly Green. I really could.
Yeah, I mean, he's the type. I mean, either them or Dallas. Somewhere in the NFC East. I mean, I think Dallas is really, really missing their Micah Parsons. Like they want that back, right? And I think
Yep.
whatever it takes, they would be willing to go ahead and use that to get that type of player. And imagine Maxx Crosby in Dallas, right? That would be probably one of the most sold jerseys. Like I can just imagine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Uh, and I think Dallas is the only team that actually keeps the profit from their jersey sales. Did you know
Really
that, Alex?
fun
Yeah.
fact of the day.
Yeah, fun fact, like that's the only team that doesn't have to like split the profits from their jersey sales. Apparently the rest of the league, whenever you buy one of their official jerseys, a portion of that goes to the league and whatnot. And in Dallas, I think that they haven't don't exactly quote me on this, but go look it up. But I'm like 95% sure that that's how it is for the Dallas Cowboys. By the way, we do have 161 people watching live. Shout out to you guys. Thank y'all so much for coming through to this
Thank
episode
you.
383 of the Purple Rain podcast. Let me see what you guys are saying here about this whole Maxx Crosby situation. Chef Spicy Rice says, we'll get Max when he's 35. Don't worry about it.
True.
That
True.
sounds about right.
True.
That
All right.
sounds about right, man. The great Xander says, whole time, we probably don't even have to trade 2 first-round picks. I mean, word on the street was that they were looking for 2 firsts and a player,
Yeah.
right? So, like, I'm
Yeah.
thinking okay, maybe 1 first, right? And then maybe like a 4th.
Yep.
Hear me out. And then we'll give you, I don't know, maybe we might toss in Bateman. And we'll get to Bateman in a little bit here.
Yep.
But it's just, what do you think?
2 firsts is a lot. Well, let me see.
It
I
is.
know the Micah Parsons trade. I know Kenny Clark went to the Cowboys, and I know a player was thrown in. That was 2 firsts and Kenny Clark. It depends how you rate them. I mean, do you rate Crosby above Micah, equally, or below?
I think you would have to rate Micah above Max only because Micah's a
Yep.
little bit younger, right?
Correct.
And so he's got probably more upside attached to him. So with
Yes.
that being said, then, maybe you lower that price from 2 first round picks to a first and maybe a fourth or a fifth, and maybe you'd be willing to take a player as well. I mean, that's all possible. But Eric DaCosta, man, I mean, look, you mentioned it earlier. Again, this is like him sacking up, right? Like, what are you gonna like? You should be making, and I don't know whether or not he is or not, but you should be making some of these hardball offers to the Vegas Raiders. He doesn't want to be there with y'all, right? Maxx Crosby is sick of y'all. I mean, y'all benched him last year, right? Because you wanted to tank for Fernando Mendoza, who, don't get me wrong, is supposed to be a really good quarterback talent. I mean, people are comparing him to, his comp might be like a baby Brady, right? Sure. But we just don't know yet. And if
Yeah.
I'm Maxx Crosby, I'm not getting any younger. I'm 28, but I'll be 30 in 2 years, right? So, like, I'm trying to strike the iron while it's hot. Feel me?
That division. How are we going to make the playoffs? Realistically.
Yeah,
I,
exactly. What's
like,
our path?
it's to me, if you're a Raider fan, it's a 3-year project, I think. Minimum 3, because let's first maybe win a couple of games. Then let's not get, 4th place. Let's maybe try to, get 3rd place. Then maybe year 3, push for a wild card spot. The Broncos, hell, were the 1 seed. The Chiefs are going to be reloading up. And the Chargers have a bright future. And where does that leave you?
Yeah. I also think with the Raiders, while it may seem like it's going to be like a 3 to 4 year plan, like you said, I think that they also know that they have to get the most out of Ashton Genty while he's on this rookie contract as they mostly can, as they possibly can, because once Genty becomes expensive, the type of running back he is, he's going to get banged up and dinged up over the years. It's just how it goes, right? He will prefer to run through you. He's not necessarily so much like a Bijan Robinson type where he can like make you miss like 2 3 times, like 2 3 different defenders in the same play. He will run through somebody. You know what I mean? Not to say he doesn't have any juke moves or twitch or anything like that, but he's the type of running back who's going to get some wear and tear. And if you try to give him a second contract, by that time with the salary cap going up, he's going to ask to break the bank, you know, especially even if he even has like above average production. So I don't know. I think that they know that they have to kind of get things going right now. I just don't know if it's going to be with Mendoza, man. And then their receivers, I mean, who are they throwing? I mean, Brock Bowers, of course, we love him. But outside of that, who are we really looking at?
Trey Tucker. I know they traded Jacoby Myers last year. And going
Yeah.
through the whole running back, I know Clint Kubiak, there's rumors that he wants to bring another running back, obviously, to have his Kenneth Walker and Charbonnet, duo recreated in Vegas. But to pay both of them, and you have to have a line, maybe get some receivers for your quarterback. Like, you can't have Mendoza throwing just nobody. You got to get him some help. Look what that
Yeah.
helped for Drake May, albeit Stephon Diggs was a huge help to him. A guy like Matt Collins helped him out. Tight ends, it helped out a young quarterback. So you don't want to just throw him in there with that. So I'm not too sure what they're going to do. You bring up a good point, though, the Ashton Jetty. And defensively as well, like Maxx Crosby, yeah, like their DBs are looking a little ass right now. I think Devin White led them in tackles last year. I'm not seeing a lot of potential for that defense. And I forget who brought it up. I think Khalil brought it up with how much they paid him. If he wants to get out, I mean, I don't feel bad for him. You signed that contract. Same with Myles Garrett, with him kind of getting mad about not winning games. You know what you signed up for these next 4 or 5 years. You definitely wouldn't have gotten as much money from a contender. We got a lot, but not the much how much you signed for. But when you sign with these big deals, you know what you're going to be with. You knew Geno Smith was going to be your quarterback. You knew there's going to be a question mark in Cleveland. So if you want to leave, maybe you have to eat some of that money to get that trade you want to, but that's up to him. But I just don't think he'll be in purple and black come our home opener in September.
Yeah, it's definitely a long shot, like we talked about. Tanja Bowman checks in here, says, "Hey, y'all, I'm driving home from work and listening. So salute to everyone. Salute to you,
Welcome.
Tanja. Make sure you stay
Welcome.
safe out there on those streets. And appreciate you for tuning in. As always, let me get back to this Maxx Crosby thing just really quick. I mean, I don't know what it is, Alex, but why do star edge rushers re-sign with ass teams? Like just like if you want to win a ring, I mean, because Myles Garrett is in that boat too. You know what I mean? Sign that big deal with Cleveland, knowing good and damn well that Cleveland was not going anywhere fast, right? But you want to win a championship, right? It's just like you're kind of showing your cards here. Like you value the upfront money and the comfortability over getting uncomfortable, maybe taking a little bit less money, not to be counting anybody's pockets, but to go do what you said that you're setting out to do, which is to win a championship. If you really want to go win a ring, that's what it takes, bud. Like you can't like just rely on the Cleveland Browns who haven't done jack shit for what the past couple decades, right? You know what I mean? Like what do we really? I mean, I don't know, man. It's so weird to me. It's so weird.
I think I'll tell you what. I mean, Micah got his money, and up until him getting hurt, Packers were, I think came to the end. They were fighting for the number 2 seat in the NFC, and obviously they got banged up with Jordan Love. Malik Willis came in, but once he went down, things kind of unraveled for them. But he went to a good team and he made his money. It can be done. So maybe they were comfortable there. But you make a good point with these edge rushers. They do stick with their teams, with the bad ones. I can't feel bad for you. Myles Garrett would have gotten a boatload of money somewhere else, just not record setting. Now, maybe incentives, maybe playoff bonuses, Super Bowl bonuses, that could have gotten you more. But I guess we'll never know. I just don't see
Yeah.
the Browns as well kind of hitting that next drive. But oh well, not our problem right now, but it will be 2 times a year. But who knows what we'll do with the edge rush? I just don't think it'll be one Maxx Crosby.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pipe dream for sure. I mean, if it were to happen, listen, I'd be ecstatic to say the absolute least, right? Because that's something that the Ravens have not had, like a premier guy off the edge. Which for me, I'm thinking to myself, like, hey, if I had to choose, I would say, hey, look, Eric DaCosta, don't even worry about it. If you're positive that we're gonna get Madubuike back, right? Let's just rock out with Madubuike, Travis Jones. Let's see what Jesse Minter can get out of Mike Green. I think I saw somebody say in the chat earlier the whole reason why we got Jesse Minter is so that he could do more with some of the talent on our team that we would consider like lesser talent, right? So right now, Mike Green, Tavius Robinson, some of these guys who are kind of like fringe, you know, high level starters, right? But we still have some questions about them, like Mike Green, like, oh, is he really gonna have like the torque and the finishing ability to really get after the quarterback? Only had a couple of sacks this year in his rookie campaign. Tavius Robinson, is he really like a huge threat at rushing the passer? Is he more so just kind of like an all around jack of all trades, master of none guy? Stop the run sort of guy. Um, I think we got to get answers out of those guys, and like I said, I would tell Eric DaCosta rock out with those two interior rushers with Madubuike and Travis Jones, and then go out and I'm gonna keep saying in the draft, number 14, get a guard. Right? I mean, we got to eat our fruits and vegetables right now. That's really what it boils down to. A lot of the again, Maxx Crosby talks, and even I'm guilty of it. The AJ Brown talks as well. It's like very fruitful, like wishful thinking,
Yeah.
but it's just kind of far fetched.
I mean, the last trade for a big player that I just remember us having was, I think, Roquan in 2022. I want to say trading a second round pick for him. We've made trades here and there. Obviously, Aloha Gilman, Deontay Johnson, but like for a premier player at that time was Roquan. I just don't think it's gonna happen again. I don't see us giving up that first round pick. I think EDC is just strapped to it. I think they had their guys off 14. I think they're banking on somebody falling. We were talking about it before the stream. I saw there was potential uh, medical concerns with Caleb Downs, safety from Ohio State. They could be looking at that, maybe hoping he falls. Maybe they hope um, other guys fall. But I just think we're going to stay put at 14 and we won't be trading it to the Las Vegas Raiders. So we'll see. But I see you're about to pull
Yeah.
up here. I don't know if you have anything else to talk about for our next topic.
I don't
Okay.
think so. Were we gonna get into? Yeah, I think we can go ahead and get into this now here. Since we're still sticking on the topic of Ravens and whatnot, let me bring this up on screen for us. So another big story that came out of Combine Week was that the Ravens, while they hope to keep center Tyler Linderbaum, people in Indianapolis at the Combine believe that he's going to get offers that exceed $20 million per year, and the Ravens will not want to go that high. And this is per Dan Graziano of ESPN. And it says here around 22.5 million per year is a sensible sweet spot. So we're talking about the difference of, because it also came out, Alex, and I don't know if you saw this, but the Ravens allegedly offered Tyler Linderbaum market resetting money already. The EDC came out and said that, which kind of put Linderbaum in a weird space, because it's like first of all, let's just start there. Like, what did you think about Eric DaCosta coming out and saying, kind of airing it out with Tyler Linderbaum, the
Yeah,
negotiations?
he's moving a little different this offseason. I'm not gonna lie. Like I didn't expect to hear him say that. He doesn't really put the ball in players' courts like that, but he kind of had to kind of show people who he is. I didn't like it per se, but if he wanted to put the pressure on him, I think it did. I know Ravens fans, including myself, I kind of looked at him like, and I think this is unfair to do, and I did it, but I'm like, are you better than Creed Humphrey? Should you be making more than Creed
Yeah,
Humphrey? But at the same time, I sit back, I'm like, look at all these quarterbacks making more money than Lamar, making more money than Mahomes, than Allen, than the best guys in the league. And they have no right to be. Look at Tua making all this money. Kyler Murray making all this money. They're about to get let go in this offseason. So that was unfair of me to do, but I think it's the agent, I want to say, and I want to believe, playing hardball negotiation. I feel like Linderbaum likes here. I think if we were to offer him 20, I think that's a fair assessment. Anything over that, that is a lot of money to give to your center who has his worst games in the biggest games possible, which is a recurring theme, unfortunately, for a lot of this team. Defense, not getting turnovers, miscommunication offensively, and fumbling as well, and just bad plays offense. But I'm not sure I give, 22.5 to him. That's a lot to be putting towards the center. And I know he has the ball every play, and I would love to keep him, but I'm trying to think about this whole team. We need two new guards as well. Um,
yeah.
you got to think about maybe extending Rosengarten in about a year. I'm not too sure how I feel about all this.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think if I'm the Ravens, I stand firm on, hey, look, man, like you are a great player. And we do also recognize that you have some deficiencies, Tyler. In space, like pass protection, you can kind of like your size kind of is a detriment, right? To the production of the O line at times. And here's the thing, Alex, like the fact of the matter is that there's bigger fish to fry on this team, and which may come off as a little bit controversial because, like, oh, offensive line, you saw how bad the O line was last year. Why would you want to get rid of Tyler Linderbaum and the continuity with Lamar, like, and everything you just mentioned, Alex? But like we mentioned, you have to worry about so many more things. I mean, of course, the Lamar contract is first and foremost. You got to worry about how you are going to fit players with your free agency spending. How are you going to fit them under the cap with the contracts of Roquan Smith, Marlon Humphrey, that they haven't really talked about restructuring yet at all. Uh, there's a lot to get done here, and it's like, bro, we're offering you a very, very generous deal, resetting the market. You can make history here. But like you mentioned, if the agent's playing hardball like that, and he's like, nah, man, that 2-3 million, we're not giving that up. And Tyler's like, you really think we can get that? He's like, yeah, but we could definitely get that. He's like, yeah, we'll just hold out on him. Don't worry about it. I don't know if that's the best counsel, right? But it also depends on what Tyler Linderbaum,
Yeah.
what he wants to do, right? I mean, if he, again, like I talked about it with Miles Garrett, Maxx Crosby, is like do you want to sacrifice your, I guess he wouldn't necessarily be sacrificing because he could go to LA, right? Or he can go to New York,
Colts, I've
the
seen.
Colts, right? He can go to some teams who can contend, who can be competitive, right? Not to say that the Ravens are the only competitive team in the league, because we know that's far from the truth. But uh, I don't know, man. I just don't know what the mindset is of Tyler Linderbaum if he's really like allowing his agent to move like this, right? Like, is he really that concerned over the extra couple 2-3 million that he would get with a totally another team having to uproot everything he's got going on here in Baltimore to go over there for a couple of extra $1 million? And again, don't mean to count anybody's pockets, but it's just one of those things, man, where it is really up to the player.
Mm, mm.
I don't know. It's weird.
I don't want to sit here, try to downplay him. I love him. I think he's a great center. But
He is.
market resetting is just there's not a lot of players I think I'd back from market resetting money on this team, and he's not
Yeah.
one. The
Yeah.
quarterback
Definitely not.
I'm banking on for market resetting, if anything. And I look back at the Bills game, it wasn't good. The Chiefs game, it wasn't good in the playoffs. And I don't want to put it all on him. Obviously, no, it's not just him on the line. And this past year, I think the agents probably bring that up. Look what you had next to him. You had Thing 1 and Thing 2. You had Dumb and Dumber next to him. How do you expect him to be his best when he has
Facts.
to worry about what's next to him? And I can agree with that. But if that's really what is holding the 2-3 million, I think that's just it's rubbish. It really is. Like I think if you're offering him that 20 million a year, that is I think fair. I think with the cap going up, that is the perfect contract you're giving out. 22, 23, putting too much dip on the chip. 25, all right, stay off the weed. Like that now we're getting a little bit crazy. And I know it's minuscule, but it all adds up. And when you're building a contending team, that 5 mil, let's say they're asking for 25 and we're giving 20, that 5 mil can be a damn good quality starter on this team. I'm just not willing to give that at all. So that's just this the
Yeah.
off season, the love of the off season, rumors, sources, eye emoji,
Yeah.
love it all.
Love it, man. And like I mentioned, man, with Tyler Linderbaum, it's just quite simply there's bigger fish to fry. We can't pay everybody super max contracts, which is what this would be the equivalent to in the NFL. Like, you're already getting a max contract. You're breaking the record of what any center has made. You're resetting the markets. Like, I don't want to say like what much more can you ask for, but it's like, I don't know. I think it says some things. I think it says some things about whether guys actually want to be in Baltimore. I'm just saying. I don't know. Just saying. Now, anyways, let's move on here.
I see Anderson's. Would you give him 21 a year? I would. I'm cool with 21. I'd budge. I'd budge for 21. I think
I
I think for me the continuity with Lamar. I don't want to go back to the Makaris, the Skuras. I cannot go back to that. The snaps over the head and Lamar gets a concussion. Linderbaum has his snap issues, but I feel like him and Lamar, it's just
yeah.
a good duo. I'm willing to budge for 21.
Okay. I mean that I wouldn't mind it, but at the same time, we also have to keep in mind that there's guys out in free agency that are available that you can get who can be
Cushionberry.
more than serviceable, right?
That's
Yeah,
interesting to me.
Lloyd Cushenberry is now,
And
yeah, a free
if
agent.
I'm Linderbaum's like his agent, I'm seeing centers getting cut. I'm like, hold up, wait a second. The Ravens can just move on from him and just get another starting center, and just you may not get this money or from a contending team just like us. You can get the money from a bad team like the Raiders. What's you gonna be winning? Look at L'Jarius Sneed. Look at L'Jarius freaking Sneed. He was the guy for the Chiefs. Got paid an ass ton of money with the Titans. He got paid. He got his ring. He got paid. But Linderbaum hasn't gotten his ring yet. I just don't think he'll get it elsewhere.
Yeah. By the way, over 200 people watching live right now. Thank you guys. Shout out to you guys for coming out to this episode 383 of the Purple Rain podcast. Here we cover Baltimore Ravens sports. Now, listen, what I wanted to go ahead and cover next, and by the way, guys, like the video, leave a thumbs up. What you guys see on the screen baffled me today. Baffled me. I was taken aback by this tweet. And this is actually coming from a friend of the show, Kevin Ostreicher. Quoting here from a report from Jeremy Fowler saying, according to multiple league executives, the Ravens could be in the market for a safety in free agency despite already having Kyle Hamilton and Malachi Starks. And this is per Jeremy Fowler of ESPN. Now, I do know in the past, some people have told me, oh, sudden Jeremy Fowler, he's not the most credible guy. He doesn't have the best hit rate, whatever. But damn it, the guy works for ESPN, right? And I know he's got to be in close contact with somebody. So here we are reacting to this. Alex, I'll just toss it to you first. What does this make you feel? I mean, Kyle Hamilton and Malachi Starks are already back there, right? You can get Ardarius Washington. Like, listen, how are you feeling about this, man?
There's an old friend that's a free agent. I think it's him. Geno Stone. I feel like they could bring him back. He was asked for the Bengals. There's no way they pay more than a vet minimum for another safety. I just pulled up the safeties, free agents. Kyle Duggar, Jalen Thompson, Jimmy Ward, Andre Sisco, Kevin Byard, Donovan Wilson, Alohi Gilman, Geno Stone, Cam Curl. I just you have the highest paid safety on the team. I mean, in the league, and then you have a first round. There's no way it should be anybody more than a vet minimum. You cannot put more money into this room. I just that's the only thing that makes sense to me. A guy who's familiar. It's a different defense, obviously, but he has familiarity with the team and the organization. Outside of that, I'm baffled. I'm baffled at who else it could be.
I mean, for me, is quite simply again hustling backwards. Now, listen, I do know, excuse me, I do know that the Ravens want to run a lot of cover three. You know, they want to keep Kyle Hamilton closer to the line of scrimmage where they can do, a lot of different things with him. But my thing is, again, I mean, Malachi Starks, who proved this year, I mean, he had strides. He looked like a really, really good free safety. You didn't really hear his name called too much, right? Except when he was like in the box and he had to kind of get down and dirty and tackle and things like that. And he got ran over a few, you know, that was some of the bad stuff. But as a free safety, that guy is actually going to be very, very like a high level starter in this league. So I just don't understand, if you can bring back the likes of, Ardarius Washington, right? If he's healthy enough, why not go that route instead of again dumping more unnecessary money into a free agent safety who's going to be looking for probably, like you mentioned, some of these guys out there are going to be looking for new deals. I mean, the Ravens are going to want to pay up that much,
Yeah.
even for like 1 year. I just don't understand that, especially if you're going to budge, like you mentioned before, and do 21 million for Tyler Linderbaum. I mean, you gotta cut costs somewhere, right? And if you have good safeties already in the room, I just don't understand going out in free agency of all things. Now, like I said, hustling backwards, it starts with the trenches, right? If anything you need to go out and get in free agency is the defensive line or the offensive line. Take your pick. I don't care, but one of those needs to be addressed, you know? And again, it'll cause a chain reaction, especially, I mean, again, specifically if you get somebody on the defensive line, it's going to cause a chain reaction to the secondary, aka the safeties as well. So I, I don't understand it at all. I don't, I hope Jeremy Fowler got this information incorrectly from somebody, to be honest with you. But nah, I'm not with it.
I see the chat's not feeling Geno. I'm not saying it's gonna happen. I just kind of thought it made sense. He's a guy who had 2 bad years. He probably isn't. He doesn't have the best market value. I can see the Ravens jumping on a former player. I saw somebody mention Tony Jefferson has familiarity. Had a really good season with the Chargers last year. Like really good with Jesse Minter. I think he had 4 picks, multiple tackles for loss. Was doing his thing. I think just Ardarius, bring him back. I'm with you on that. I would love to have Bo Braid still, maybe give him a chance, but he's not the Giants. Hell, Snoozy Kane, he's gone. He's a Titan. Our young guys that we had, undrafted late round guys who could maybe step in, they're gone. So it's maybe we're stuck in this, but I feel like day 3 we can get somebody who can at least play some snaps here and there. But
Yeah.
I'm cool with Darius coming back. I would love that. Tony, I wouldn't hate a reunion just because he knows Minter. I'm looking at guys here. Ifeatu Melifonwu from the Dolphins. That intrigues me a bit. He wasn't too bad there, and obviously has that little link with Anthony Weaver. But Jaquan Brister's going to want too much. It's just these are starting caliber guys. Brian Cook starting caliber. Nick Scott starting caliber. Nick Cross from the Colts. I just don't see who they would get. And if it were to be anything more than a 2-year, 4 or 5 million, or a 1 year, 2 to 3 mil, I'm not feeling it. The money can go elsewhere. You can draft. So I hope that's not a real report.
Yeah, same. I am begging for that to be like fake news, AI, something. I don't know. I don't know. But no, yeah, let's go ahead and move on here to something a little bit different, something a
Oh
little bit
boy.
near and dear to us, right?
Oh boy. This ain't
Something
gonna
a
be
little bit
good.
near
This
and dear to the hearts of the Purple Rain gang.
just a warning. just a,
So so listen. Here's another report here, as you guys can see. Here's another report. Uh, this is another one coming from Kevin Ostreicher. Shout out to him. Says, despite a down year in 2025, the Ravens seem inclined to give wide receiver Rashod Bateman another shot in their new offense under new offensive coordinator Declan Doyle. And this is per Dan Graziano of, again, ESPN. Now let me preface this by saying this: us here at PRP, we are Bateman truthers, certified. You know what I'm saying? We got the seal of approval on that, you know. So you can only do but so much Bateman slander in the chat right now, or else you will get called out for it. Okay. I'm just telling you guys that right now. But listen, how does this make y'all feel? Because I know, like, Alex, we'll start with you here. Do you think that
JD
the
is.
Ravens should go?
How many
Let me.
shots?
I gotta bring. Oh my gosh, man. He called us
Oh.
dumbasses for not be for being. He said y'all ain't truthers, y'all are dumbasses for believing in Bateman. Come on, man. You know I'm a stick with my guy Bateman. You know what? We're not doing this. We're not doing this. Listen, Rashod Bateman was a victim this past season. He was a victim this past season of not getting the opportunities that he. I mean, hell, for a quarter of the year, number one, didn't have a starting quarterback. Number two, had a terrible offensive line. You know, so on top of not having a quarterback for a quarter of the season, damn near, he also had backups playing with the likes of Daniel Faalele and Andrew Voorhees,
Yeah.
right? So, I mean, where were the opportunities supposed to come for Rashad Bateman, who is, by the way, third, fourth option in the offense behind Zay Flowers, Mark Andrews, arguably Isaiah Likely, you know what I mean? And whatever one-off receiver that the Ravens get, veteran receiver, last year was D-Hop. So where was Rashad Bateman supposed to fit in? Need I remind y'all, he was top 10 in touchdowns just the season prior, right? And had some spectacular plays. So I don't think that it's time to hop off of the Bateman train at all. I don't. I really don't. I definitely do believe that he deserves another shot because, like I've been saying this entire episode, Alex, if you can fix the O-line, that improves the productivity of so many other players, including Rashod Bateman, because Lamar's going to have more time to go through his reads and progressions to get to Rashod Bateman. Rashod Bateman, as we know, is a great route runner. He can route dudes up, no problem, and he can get open. Separation is not a huge problem for him, but you got to get receivers. Wide receivers need to be in some sort of rhythm. I mean, if the guy's only getting 2 targets a game, what do you expect him to do? You know, and that kind of messes with the psyche of a wide receiver too. Like when you know you're not getting the ball, right? When you know you're probably getting at most 3 targets in a game. What does that do for your psyche as a wide receiver? You kind of get checked out, you know? Whereas you see guys who get in kind of like a rhythm, like some of the best in the league. And I don't mean to compare these guys to Rashod Bateman, but look at the likes of Jamar Chase, Puka Nakua, Justin Jefferson. The reason why they are able to get so hot is because they know the ball is coming their way. You know, so I don't think that it's time to move on from Rashod Bateman at all. But what say you before we get to the super chat donation here in the chat?
JD says he's a victim. Where's his love? Where's his support? Um. Oh boy. Obviously I want him to succeed here. I'm on the fence. I'm at the point where I feel like it'll get to the point with the Falele, like his mistakes and mishaps will be just having big magnifying glass. He has one drop all over Twitter, one drop
Yeah.
all over social media, and I'm on the other point. What can you trade him for right now? What are you going to get if you were to trade him with his contract? A 7th round pick? A 7th round? Like, is that Is that worth it? Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that I don't want it to be just be Zay and B. I would love to get somebody else with him. I'm at the point you might as well keep them. There's really low value. But I'm not on the trade thing. So, get the jail real quick. He says, in my honest opinion, the Ravens' priority should be the offensive line. My expectations are very low. I cannot believe Sutton Dev is pumping up number 7. I mean,
I mean, but like,
I'll
why?
pump.
Why can you not believe that? I don't understand. Like, it's crazy how we turn so fast on
Yeah,
some of these
writing him
guys. You know
off.
what I mean? Like, people were all on me for criticizing a guy like Zay Flowers, who gets the volume that Rashod Bateman does not. And often, again, like we mentioned, Zay Flowers, a lot of times in this past season, would finish between someone with like 3 to 5 catches a game, 50 to 65 yards, somewhere in there, maybe 70 on a good day. He started to heat up towards the end of the season there, yes. But he wasn't really scoring any touchdowns. Again, started to heat up towards the end of the season. He had like maybe 2 or 3 at the end of the season, 2 in that Steelers game, I remember, in week
Yep.
18. But, like I feel like, again, with the amount of volume that Zay Flowers gets, we should be getting more out of him. So I'm just imagining here, if Rashod Bateman was afforded more opportunities, what could we see from him if we started to actually gain this guy's confidence and invest in his confidence in that way of getting him the ball? Maybe Declan Doyle, him being such an analytical guy, will really look at Rashod Bateman. I'm sure it's got to be fascinating for Declan Doyle, the curious case of Rashod Bateman, and like why the Ravens haven't been able to really truly unlock this guy. If I'm Declan Doyle, Rashod Bateman just became my passion project, right? Like,
Mm.
I am going to find a way to get this guy involved because, number one, he's got all the measurables. He's got the height, he's got the speed, he's got the length, right? He's got the 50-50 catchability. We've seen it before. I mean, he's got all of the everything that you would possibly want from a wide receiver to be a number one wide receiver. I mean, he just needs the opportunities, right? And again, we can point to those drops throughout. Last season he had a couple bad ones, especially the one against the Steelers on that 3rd and 4, or whatever it was, that really kind of turned the tide. Um, again, I think a lot of that comes from not having the volume, not having just being in a rhythm. You're not in a rhythm, so
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I think Declan Doyle can definitely get more out of him. Thank you so much
Yeah.
again, Gerald, for your super chat donation, making it rain here with a 20 piece here on this episode 383 of PRP. Be sure to like the video, guys. Over 200 people watching live right now. Shout out to the replay gang. But Alex, what you got for me?
I don't see what you gain out of trading him because now you have another hole receiver wise. I think you can still add the receiver room. I'm all for it. Don't get me wrong, but I think he's a damn good red zone target if you give him the volume. If you draw up the plays, and you're losing likely, there's a target gone. So it's, do you want a whole new offense with a whole new OC, or do you want some remaining guys? That's kind of where I'm at right now. I still think he can give us at least 700 yards, 5, 6 touchdowns. I'm cool with that. Very cool with that as receiver 2 or 3. So we'll see. It's a whole new offense, and I think I'm willing to give guys fresh starts, with new guys. So we'll see how this goes. I actually pulled up DK Metcalf stats. We were talking about receivers and contracts. I did not realize DK had 850 yards last year. That would surprise me.
I mean, he had some of his biggest games against us.
Like imagine if we would have traded for him 850 yards, and his best games were against the worst defense, damn near the worst defense in the league.
I would have been a huge fan of getting a DeKalin Zacharias Metcalf, right? I mean, he fits the prototype of receiver, that the Ravens fans have been begging for the past, I don't know how many years, right? But he's
Yeah,
big body, strong hands. He's actually got some speed, a lot of speed as well. I mean, I think probably one of your most viral videos on your channel is of him chasing
yeah.
down Buda Baker, right? I mean, like the guy's got he's a freak athlete, So I would have loved to have DK Metcalf, and you saw kind of like why I would feel that way when you watch the Ravens games against the Steelers last year. I mean,
Yeah.
he kind of bullied us, dominated us in a couple of big spots in those games. So, especially in the first half of the first game against the Steelers, I mean, he was just crushing us. But,
Everybody
yeah,
was. Everybody had their games against us. Everybody had their best games against us, unfortunately.
for sure. for sure. Let me see what you guys are saying in the chat here. I'm seeing a lot of Bateman slander, and I do not like it. Glaucoma says Bateman, Charmin, ultra soft. That is crazy. Let me see. Void says he is supposed to be a wide receiver one. We took him round one, and he's ends up with Tylan Wallace numbers.
Oh,
Again, I think this is mismanagement, though. I think this is mismanagement. I think what you're going to see out of this new Ravens coaching staff with Jesse Minter and Declan Doyle. Again, Jesse Minter and Declan Doyle, these are two very, very bright dudes, right? They are going to look at a Rashod Bateman and say, huh, so you're telling me this guy has all the measurables you would want out of a wide receiver one. The year before last, he was top 10 in touchdowns, but the Ravens haven't truly been able to unlock this guy's full potential. And what do we do? As again, Declan Doyle and Jesse Minter, we maximize guys' potential. So again, that's why I say I think Rashod Bateman can really become a passion project for both of those guys. Because obviously Jesse Minter being the head coach now, he's not only going to have his head in the defense, defensive meetings and things like that. He's going to be talking to the offense as well. And I have all the confidence in the world that if Bateman is on this team going into next season, they will find a plan for him. He's going to get back to being a red zone threat, a deep threat, which, like, again, both of those things he was last season. Don't sleep on Bateman, y'all. Please do not sleep on Bateman. I mean, he's got the tools. Don't act like he
the dip.
doesn't.
By the dip. I mean, can't really go much lower than it already is. So,
Yeah.
fortunately. But we'll see. I mean, I think he's just a guy right now that whatever he does is going to be a huge microscope on him. His highs better be really high because if he has one drop, it's not going to be good. It will not be good.
Yeah. Well, let's go ahead and move on from that, Alex. I think that might have been all the news from today. I don't think we were missing
Yeah,
anything.
I mean, just some combine stuff
Just
over
look
the
through real
weekend.
quick.
That's about it, I'd say.
Okay.
Also, today we had trades today. If we want to talk about that, a couple of them.
Yeah. So, what was the big one again? Oh, well, the Ravens also got a new VP
Oh
of
yeah,
Health and Performance, Dr. Nick Gill, in case you guys didn't hear about that as well. He used to have that same role in New Zealand during his time in rugby. What he kind of specializes in developing raw explosive power, staying lean with real food, developing talent, not just muscle, sharpening your mind to get stronger, spicing up training with science. So this guy seems like a very, very how do you say, like, very technical, again, like, kind of like a scientist almost. He's going to approach keeping our players healthy from, I'm sure, a very deeply, deeply analytical and research backed perspective, and that's something that you can appreciate for sure, I think.
yeah, especially coming from rugby. They're not playing with any damn pads. We at least have pads on, so bring them over to here, and we could use all of it because guess the type of banged up we were getting last year. We had the freaking 12-point MLA format essays for iWord reports. Let's get away from that again and
Oh
let's
yeah,
be
it
healthy
was bad.
going into the run. And yeah, we can't have those again. I'm happy that we're just trying to bring in fresh blood, fresh just everything to try to get this team the best it can be. I think we're good for the news for today with the Ravens in the past week. But
Okay.
the big trade for today was David Montgomery heading from the Detroit Lions to the Houston Texans. And there were some rumors floating around, and Montgomery even went out there. I was like, "Who are you talking about? Me? Did you talk to me about it?" Not too long ago, like 2 or 3 days ago. And it came out today. He was traded, I believe, for an offensive lineman and I want to say a fifth round pick to the Texans. So Texans now have Montgomery with Woody Marks, CJ Stroud, Nico Collins, Jaden Higgins,
Yeah.
Dalton Schultz. I mean, tooling up AFC South still. I mean, Jags looked good last year. Don't know what the Colts are going to be, and the Titans are still building around Cam Ward. But for me, the Texans right now, a good trade for them. I think Joe Mixon's tenure there is over, so they do need a veteran running back with Woody Marks. I do like it a lot for them. I'm not going to lie. I think it's a really good trade.
Yeah, I mean, Demo just wanted to see more production. He wanted to see more touches. I mean, Jameer Gibbs really took over last year. I know they had the whole Sonic and Knuckles thing for, a while there, and that was a big thing, but Sonic proved why he was the main character, just like in the franchise, and kind of took over. And you can't be mad at David Montgomery for going somewhere where he'll be utilized more and featured more as a an RB1, even though, but still, like with Woody Marks, he's still going to be splitting carries because Woody Marks was pretty damn impressive in his own regard last year. So we'll see what ends up happening there. But it was kind of interesting, like you mentioned, Montgomery like deny the fact that like he wanted out of Detroit, right? Like he kind of like, like you mentioned, sarcastically said like, "Oh, did David Montgomery tell you that?" He was replying to whoever put out the report that he wanted out of Detroit, supposedly. And just a few days later, he actually ends up getting moved, and it's like, oh, okay, I wonder what happened there. But nonetheless, he's in Houston now, and when it comes to Houston, there were some talks about C.J. Stroud potentially getting moved. But then the GM, I think it was, came out and really shut that down and said like, no, that's moronic talk. Like that's not going to happen. We're rocking with C.J. Stroud. And it really got me to thinking because I was talking last week on Quiet Storm, Alex, and I was saying how, Lamar, I don't think that Lamar is going to sign a deal uh, this year, knowing that G Money with another super chat donation here. But no, really quick, I don't think Lamar Jackson is going to sign a deal knowing that, he's coming off of a down year. The team's coming off of a down year. He has an opportunity to bounce back this year, put up huge numbers and demand way more money, and not be leapfrogged by the likes of a CJ Stroud or whoever else is in line to get paid next year. Maybe he's thinking that way, but I don't know. I just was just on my mind last week.
Yeah, I mean, and we want to get it done. I saw there was a little loophole we can get it to maybe 38 mil, convert some stuff to bonuses. He'll still get money, possible void years. But I feel like for all parties, it's just best to get it done now. I think he'll get a fair market resetting contract. I think he'll be damn near one of the top. I think maybe the guaranteed money is what's holding it up. We don't know. It's kind of the blessing and the curse of him being his own agent. We're not going to know about any leaks because nobody's leaking it. And if they were to leak it, we know who it would be. It would be the team. It wouldn't be the player. So I still think it gets done. Honestly, I think it'll just be a bombshell out of nowhere, just like the last one was, unless Lamar tweets a GIF of SpongeBob excited again. Fingers crossed, it's the same thing. It's him just kind of trolling us, but that's Lamar. He's a troll. It could be done right now for all we know, and just not coming out yet. Who knows? We don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. Only time will tell. Like G Money says here, time will tell. Good luck, Sudden Death, donating the $7 here in the chat. Appreciate you.
Seven for Bateman.
G Money,
Funny.
7 for Bateman. Yeah, man. And again, man, I have faith and belief in Bateman, much like I have faith in Mike Green. And the reason why I'm saying like a guy like Mike Green is because, like I mentioned earlier in the show, if you shore up the interior of those trenches, it's going to open up opportunities for guys on the outside like Mike Green. You know what I mean? It's going to open up opportunities for guys like Nate Wiggins on the outside to really, really, capitalize on some of these errant throws that have to be made because, the defensive line is really getting after the quarterback. And adversely, on the other side of the ball, Rashod Bateman's going to have more opportunities to get open downfield in the red zone, things like that, if the offensive line is holding up better than what they did last year. So, I mean, look, you don't have to take my word for it, and I know you won't, right? But Rashod Bateman, to me, I still think has a lot left in the tank as a Raven, and I think that the new coaching staff can get a lot out of him. But thank you so much, Gerald, for your super chat donation. Again, we appreciate that, brother. Let me see. What else we got here? Be sure to like the video, y'all. We have over 200 people watching still live right now. Shout out to you guys. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. If you're watching on X, drop a follow as well on both of our X accounts. And then come over to YouTube and subscribe on YouTube if you are enjoying the content. But all right, let's go ahead. And what else do we have? I think we had some Combine stuff, right? You watched the Combine this past week?
I watched the big boys run. I did watch that.
Yeah.
I saw kind of the darlings of the combine. The tight ends, man, stole the show. A couple of them. Uh, the fella from Oregon, and then I think Stowers from Vanderbilt. They had really good combines, and obviously I don't think we'll be taking a tight end this early, but it's interesting to watch tight ends because we'll be in the market for one. We'll most likely be drafting one. We won't bring back likely and Kolar, so we'll definitely be drafting one. So that's kind of what I'm interested in. Um, I saw was it Sonny Styles at Ohio State lit it up, crazy, insane, looked so smooth. His measurables were crazy. I saw them put a picture next to him and Kyle Hamilton. Hamilton commented on it. It was just a good watch. I didn't sit there and watch the whole thing like some people are, but I tuned in, saw it, and I kind of we'll take it with a grain of salt. But it definitely was interesting to watch, and I was telling you before, man, watching those linemen at 300 pounds, run sub 540s. I think we put a lot into the 40-yard dash. I think it's kind of overrated to a point, but just watching them, haul ass, crazy. It's crazy how they can just move their body just like that. I respect it.
Yeah. It really speaks to, kind of like you think about like evolution, like human evolution. Like if there was like a clear way to like measure it, you can just look at like stuff like the NFL combine just over the years, right? And just see how guys are getting bigger, faster, stronger, at like record setting paces. I mean, it's incredible to witness, to be honest with you. And that's one reason why I do like watching the combines, to see that record get broken, whatever it may be, whatever if it's a measurable or something, that comes from a challenge, whatever. But one thing that stood out to me about the combine, I was looking at the quarterbacks, and I know if we're, as Ravens fans, we're not worried about any of the quarterbacks, but I always like to see, who's throwing a good ball, and and who's kind of being consistent out there. And I was looking at, of course, Fernando Mendoza didn't throw. He's gonna have his pro day in early April, I heard. But I was looking at guys like Ty Simpson out of
Mhm.
Alabama, and he looked like a very, very strong thrower. I mean, he had a lot of you know, power coming out of his throws. He was leading guys down the field, especially on some of the deep balls as well. The short stuff he was really good at as well. So Ty Simpson was a guy that I was looking at, and then also there was a guy from, I think his name was like, oh man, I think it was like Talon something. I can't remember
Okay.
exactly what his name was. I have to look him up again. But he was a really good thrower, and he ran like a 4.3 in the 40 or something like that. You know what I mean? So we're gonna have some
Yeah.
fast quarterbacks. There was another guy. I think it's what was the white guy? It was the white guy as
Was it
well.
Drew
I
Aller
can't remember their names.
from Penn
No,
State?
Not Drew Aller, is because I saw him throw too. Drew
Yeah.
Aller, he looked good, and also
Yep.
Cade Klubnik, he looked good as well. But there was another white guy. I think he went to Indiana or something like that. I can't quite remember off the top of my head, guys. But he also
So
ran like a 4.4. I was like, oh shit, yeah. Like, I mean, some of these quarterbacks coming out, they are fast, right? And a lot of them have really, really strong arms. So I think that the future of the league when it comes to quarterback talent, pretty bright, pretty bright.
I do have a gripe with one of the quarterbacks. I'm trying to pull up the combine right now for the quarterback 40-yard dash. Taylor Green Haynes King from Georgia Tech, I see, ran a 4.46. Cole Payton from North Dakota ran a 4.56. Sawyer Robertson from Baylor, a 4.64. And then any of those ring a bell? Luke Altmaier from Illinois, 4.72.
It might have been, who was the third one again? My bad.
Sawyer Robertson from Baylor, 4.64.
It might have been Sawyer Robertson.
Okay.
Might have been Sawyer Robertson. Uh I have to go back and look. I got to go back and look one more time. But I think that the Talon, would you say his name was Talon who?
Uh, Taylor Green, who ran a 4.36.
Yeah. Yeah. That was the guy. That was the guy. And I was just like, bro, that dude is fast. And then when he started throwing, like he actually had some really, really good arm strength as well. And some people were saying like, oh, like some of the guys might ask him to work out at wide receiver and stuff like that. And I went back and I watched some of his college tape, and I could definitely see where some accuracy issues were there in some spots. But for the most part, I mean, that guy looks like hell, like the next Jaden Daniels type. So I mean, I saw some good stuff at the combine. Of course, the running backs, I watched them as well. Jeremiah Love out there looked really, really good. Really, really fluid. There are a couple of other guys too, but I think I'm right there with you when you come to like the biggest takeaways, like the big guys out there, really, really putting in that work, man, and they looked good as well. I love what I saw from the big guys.
Diego Pavia. What the F are we doing, my boy? What are we doing?
What about him?
He didn't run the 40. And he was a threat with his legs. And then he says Johnny Manziel is mentoring him.
Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah.
Certainly, I really can't talk because I have a picture next to me of me and Johnny Football. Um,
Hey.
one of my favorite college quarterbacks of all time. He and the whole Heisman stuff, he's not making it easy. I don't think he's going to be day one or two. He'll probably be day three pick. I'm just confused at what is the plan for him. I mean, where's he going to go?
I mean, I think honestly, a lot of these guys, like don't really care about getting drafted super high because, like, especially if you're a quarterback, like the barrier for entry for you to like become a starter is very low. Like
Yeah.
nobody even thought like going into this past season that Shador Sanders was going to even get a chance to get on the field this year with how buried he was on the depth chart. But sure enough, before you know it, I think what was it week 10 or something like that, week 12, he's a starting quarterback, you know? So it's like if you're Diego Pavia, I'm fine with dropping 2, 3 rounds in the draft. So I can get picked up by, I don't know, the Minnesota Vikings or somebody, you know what I mean? Like in
Dolphins.
next thing I know, right, exact Dolphins, next thing I know, I'm in the starting lineup and I get to prove myself, you know? I I don't know, and he actually did perform well. He threw pretty well at the combine as well. That's another guy that I remember. He was hanging tough in there again with the likes of Ty Simpson and Cade Klubnik and Garrett Nussmeier was also looked pretty strong out there as well. So I don't know. I think he'll be fine wherever he ends up going. He's just got to, and I hear he's pretty outspoken too. You know, kind of speaks his mind, that sort of guy. But I don't know. We'll see.
He lost me at the Heisman. He came in with like headphones on. Everybody else, was walking around. He just like acted like he didn't care. I'm like, come on now, like let's care a little bit. This is a real big thing, and I didn't like that. There, kind of lost me, but I guess if that's what's working for him, that's what's working for him. But definitely interesting to see with the combine this past week, and now one of the pro days. We'll see how that goes, and then we'll have the mocks coming out will be a little bit more accurate. We know what the first pick's going to be now. It's just kind of all the other ones will fall into place. Pre-draft interviews. We're
Yeah.
getting there.
Yeah, and like we mentioned at the very, very top of the show, Alex, I mean, free agency tampering period, 7 days. We are 1 week away from like big bombshell news, right? Like, oh, such and such is a free agent. Oh, this, this team is acquiring that player for, it's gonna be great. It's one of my favorite times of the year because it's just a whole lot of big news all at once, seemingly. So, we will be covering that here on the Purple Rain Podcast YouTube channel. And I just want to say, if you enjoyed this episode as we wrap up here, this episode 383 of PRP, please be sure to leave a like, aka a thumbs up on this video if you're watching on YouTube. We appreciate each and every one of you guys. We still have about 220 people watching live right now. Shout out to all of the live listeners and viewers of the show. If you are part of the replay gang, you made it all the way to the end of the episode. Thank you for that. We appreciate you so much. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe if you are new here to the Rain Gang family. We do go live twice a week here, talking about Baltimore Ravens football on Mondays and Thursdays at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then throughout the week, we also have a Quiet Storm Sports, where we talk about Ravens football and some other sports as well. We're going to be getting into here soon. If all that sounds good to you, make sure you leave a subscribe on this channel. And if listen, also, I've been kind of neglecting the Apple Music and Spotify listeners, right? But if you're out there and you listen on Apple Music or Spotify or whatever it is, shout out to you as well. I
Yes.
checked the numbers for those. The numbers for those actually look pretty good. And I didn't
Okay.
realize that they were looking that good. So shout out to you if you are one of our audio listeners. We appreciate you guys just as much. We love you guys just as much. But again, this has been episode 383 of PRP. And with that being said, I'm going to let my guy Alex take us out.
I'll tell you what, a good podcast, listen on the way home or the way to work, man, instead of music, it's always a good switch up. It really is. You
Oh,
find the
yeah.
right podcast, and then
Oh,
if it
yeah.
comes in every Monday or Tuesday, you have your Monday or Tuesday commute set. I'm all
Yep.
for it. So hopefully we can be your Monday and Thursday commute. Well, no,
Yeah.
Tuesday and Friday if you don't get there.
Yeah.
Tuesday and Friday. So we can start the week right and end the week right, if you're cool with
Yep.
that. Well, it was a great episode 383 of the Purple Rain Podcast. An hour and 14, almost hour and 15 minutes. Thank you for spending your evening with us. Hope you have a great week. We love you. We appreciate you. And as always, stay positive, test negative.
Yes, yes, yes. And never, ever, ever forget, even on the rainiest of days, to call God. This has been episode 383 of PRP. We're going to catch you guys in the next one. Peace.